We now invite you to join us for Supreme Master Ching lecture entitled Forgive Yourself in Fremont, California, USA on November 25th, 1993.
The temple is useful, that we can gather together and have a nice devotional day to the Supreme God. Or you just came for lunch? You came for God, right? Okay, good. Then you're entitled to lunch later. Yes, surely if we don't have spiritual food, doesn't matter what we eat, it will never satisfy us, mentally and physically. Therefore we keep getting hungry and hungry again and again. And even we eat a lot of nice food and vitamin, we still get sick and sometimes distressed, yeah, and indigestion. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that the food which was prepared for offering to God first, and then we eat it, it should be very, I'll say, nutritious and full of blessing for us. If, however, we prepare the food just for personal satisfaction, then we truly make mistake. And that will give us a lot of unsatisfaction and sometimes trouble, indigestion and all that. All of you know the Bhagavad Gita or not? That's the book of wisdom of ancient India. It's about 5,000 years old. Now in that book, it is mentioned not only the food, that we should first prepare it in the spirit of offering to God before we take it. But everything else we do in life must be an offering, must be a sacrifice to the Supreme Spirit. In that case, we will never reap any bad or any good result out of that. Because bad result or good result bind us to this material world. Even if sometimes we cannot help ourselves, we lose our temper, we get angry, yes, and we know we shouldn't. And then sometimes we feel very, very sorry for a long time after our anger has already subsided. But I tell you, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself anytime. Whatever you do, just make offering to God and let it be whatever the outcome. Because we are not the body anyhow. We are not the action. We are not the doer of anything in this world. Even if we are, suppose we are the doers, we still have to forgive yourself, forgive ourselves when we make mistakes or when we cannot help with our, habit, like anger, or sometimes greed, and sometimes lustful thoughts. Because these things also arise from the circumstances. It's not truly the self, it's not truly the soul that desire all these things. So we have to always try again and forgive ourselves above all. Because the inside is God, the supreme wisdom. We can't scold it, we can't abuse it, we can't be rude to it. You understand what I mean? So if we are angry with ourselves, we should be angry only with our habit, our accumulated habit, or we should blame the situation also, not to blame the supreme wisdom, the real self, because the real self never err, never make any mistakes. Suppose we are even the doer, and we are in the society like this. Sometimes we get angry. It's not always our fault. Most of the time, it is not. So it is good that we know that there is something else above the mind and above the body. Because the body is composed of only material substance like earth, water, iron, yeah. Well, our iron inside is much enough to make a few nails, and water, yes, and earth, and maybe fire, the vital fire, so that the body will be warm and all that. And the mind is consisted of what? It's just a collection of all kind of informations, bad and good. And it is just like a computer. Whatever you program it, yeah? And when you push the button, it comes out the same, right? Come out the same. One of our fellow practitioners, he has electric organ, piano. And he programmed it into different musical rhyme. He can play it again from the cassette. So the same thing with our brain. It would be empty. It would be absolutely blank, just like a brand new computer. And until we start to record things and information, and sometimes good, sometimes bad. So if we happen to record the good information, then when we want to make use of it, then the good informations come out. And if we happen to record the bad information, then of course it come out, the bad information. So now, to meditate, to pray to God, or to study the Holy Scriptures is just a way to reprogram our thinking, our way of life. And because we reprogram it in a good way, so the result comes out always good. Or at least not as bad as before, or at least not all bad. Even though we can't help to record some more bad information daily, but the number will be less than before, right? Because we keep recording good things, like we meditate on the God name, we meditate on God power, and we get the God power coming through us, filling us with joy and virtues and goodness. Then even the bad information comes in, it has no room, and also may be minimized. And because of the goodness and the powerful energy from God through meditation each day, we will be able to dilute or maybe digest completely any information that is harmful to our mind and our soul. That's why we cannot not to meditate. We cannot not to study Holy Scriptures. Many people don't like to study Holy Scriptures. Why? Because they don't understand. So I heard many of the holy men from churches, from temples, they complain that the young people or the people of today do not like to study scriptures, do not like to study holy book. But because most of the holy scriptures are too profound, too sophisticated, too deep, sometimes too difficult for the modern man, for the layman to understand. But we have one solution. First, we have to open the understanding power. Then we can understand the Bible or the scriptures. Anything, any book, you will be able to understand. I also could not understand much of what is said in the Bible or in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Buddhist scriptures or in the, let's say, Lao Tzu books and all that. Yeah, Kongzi Lao Tzu book I read. I understood somehow, but not as profound, not as deep as I do now. Because after our power of understanding is open, the wisdom is made to be useful again, then we can understand many things. So if we do not understand the scriptures, and the best thing is first to get enlightenment. Enlightenment means you open the power of understanding. And then the heavenly light, godly light, will shed all understanding upon any object that we wish to study. So that's why even now in the college, people teach the students many kind of meditation, at least to calm their turbulent mind. And if they have a better meditation, the good kind of meditation, which can even open the seat, the door of wisdom, the power of understanding, then so much better for them. Therefore, many of the students who study in college but at the same time meditate, they find it easier to master any subject that they want to study. And they were always very good at school. This is a fact that everybody knows by now. Why is that we heard of reincarnation? Why there is reincarnation? It is because we do not know the real self, and we chase after the container of the self. Therefore, we chase after one to another. For example, the water in the sea is all one, yeah? And then if we happen to put it in a cup, or we put a cup into the sea like this, and then we seal it, the water in the cup is separated from the ocean, right? Understand? But as soon as the cup is broken, then it becomes one with the ocean again. And if the water inside the cup is attached to the container, and then after it's broken, it goes and seek another cup, you know what I mean? Then it will forever be separated with the ocean. Similarly, our real self is not contained in this body. Never. Because it's all pervading. And this is just one of the station, one of the things that, contain a little bit of ourselves. Therefore, when we broke this limitation, we will be one with the whole. And we don't have to break the body to go out. There is a way to go out. For example, we don't need to break the cup to free the ocean, to free the water in the cup. We can just, where it's leaking or there is a hole somewhere. And then so even the cup is still there and the water is still inside, but at the same time the water is in and out all the time and connect with the whole ocean. Understand? Similarly, our cup here, the body, has a hole. And it's blocked. Yeah? It's made blocked. So to keep the soul of life, the water of life inside, but we can open it. Similarly, some of the cup, is all made like this, but there is a hole in the bottom, and then they use a plastic cover to cover it, right? Any, or sometimes medicine bottle also. And then we just take the little cap, plastic cap or something, and then we can connect with the contained inside. So there is a place where we can be connected with the whole universe while still keeping this instrument, the body. That is the third eye center, the seat of wisdom, the seat of the soul, if it's opened by any means at all, by our own perseverance, power of desire for liberation, or through a master, then we will be connected right away with the whole universe, with the Most High, which is all over places. The power of the Most High is not only contained in this body, but it's in the air right now, it's everywhere. It's in every blade of grass, in the leaves of the trees, in all creations. It is easier to open it if we have an experienced guide, who has already been connected with the whole universal power, then that he is very powerful, because he doesn't use individual power anymore. He uses the whole universal power, understand? Because he's already connected. Just like the water in the cup, even though it's still in the cup, but it's always connected with the ocean water through the hole, and there's always fresh water coming in and out, even though it's still contained in the cup. Therefore, a master or an enlightened person is like that. The initiated person are the one who has this connection, has the button open, yes. And the master is the one who realized the universal power, even though we all have it. But the master is the one who realized it. It's just like if two persons have the same amount of money inherited from the father, but the one who knows it, who knows where it is, can use it, no? Right? And the other one, even though he has it, but he put it somewhere, or he never know where it is, can he use it? He cannot, right? Similarly, we are all the same. But if we know where to use our universal power, then we become master of ourselves, master of our destiny. And we can lead many of others to become master of their own destiny as well. Otherwise, even though we are equally great, but we don't know our greatness, and that's a waste of time. Therefore, we have to come back again and again in search for this treasure until we find it. Then our journey ends. Very simple. We are here to search for this forgotten treasure. And we will never give up until we find it. That's why our life is never satisfied, never satisfactorily, because we always know there's something else greater than what we have right now. We always somehow know that we are not this container, the flesh. Because after we so-called die, the body is still there, but we cannot move. We cannot do anything. We cannot love any person. We cannot open our mouth. We cannot do anything at all. That means we are not the body. Something in the body is there to make the body move and work while we are living. Something in the body left when we die. So we cannot move any of our bodily instruments. So somehow we know. Very deep in our heart we know. Well, I know. I don't know if you know. You know, huh? You must know. That's why sometimes when you have time, right? When you are in trouble especially, and sometimes you sit down, you don't want to be with anyone. You just want to be alone. And then you think, and then you feel better and better. Because you thought there is something there. Something there. Sometimes comfort us in silence. I used to be like that before I know the Kuan Yin method. I used to pray a lot. I prayed to Buddha and I prayed to Jesus. I'm afraid one of them cannot hear. So sometimes when I'm in deep sorrow, I was in deep sorrow before I know the Kuan Yin method. Then I pray very deeply, just to be alone. Not to pray very loud, but to, to truly lament inside. And then I feel like something lifted me up, and I feel so soothing and so smooth. And I feel like, well, there's nothing to worry about. That is the time when we realize that something is greater than life. Something is always there to listen to us. Most of people pray and they say they don't have the response because they don't pray deeply enough. That's why we have more response when we are in deep sorrow, because we truly are sincere at that time. And then we pierce through all the layers of pretending of hypocrisy, and we pierce through our false self, and we get in touch somehow, even briefly, with the true self. That's when we get the response. But I suggest that we don't have to wait until we are in deep sorrow to do this. That would be too traumatic, yes. So we have a better way to do. We practice it even when we are not in sorrow. That would be better. We practice before we die. That would be better. So when we die, just like we walk from one room to the next, no problem.